This is fun because I haven't talked to Todd or anyone else in years. Todd, how's it going?
Hey, bass guy.
Wicked. You can see and hear me, or you can hear me at least, right?
I can hear you.
So it's so good to see you again. When's the last time we talked?
It would have been concert window days.
So yeah, about 7 years ago, probably. Can you
Okay.
can you tell the world who you are, Todd?
Okay. I'm Todd, and amongst the various things I do, one of them is play piano and make music. And I live in Kansas City, and I will soon be returning to New York City. And yeah, I play piano. I release music on a couple different monikers, and that's the gist.
And Todd, I had it all hooked up that you were going to be on the wall and we would play live, but at the last minute, Bill Gates screwed up the whole thing. So
I heard that. That's too bad.
it's really good to
That's
talk to
okay.
you again. It's been years, but I've been watching your YouTube and I've been seeing you play with your band or your friends, is it?
Oh yeah, maybe yeah. I need to post on YouTube more, but yes, there is a group I play with out here. We have a gig tonight, which I've been trying to prepare for, and it should be a fun evening.
That's amazing. And you have a lot of albums behind you. That's crazy.
This is my so as I'm on the eve of moving back to New York, I'm living in my parents' place for a little bit. So these are all my dad's old albums. He ran a record store in college, so
Wow, that's awesome. A studio and all those records. It's good to see. I guess it's a generational thing, eh? People used to like and appreciate music more.
I guess yeah, it was always great having these records about. I spent a lot of time exploring them when I was younger, and uh, that's going to be one thing if I come back to New York City is I won't have this nice basement to operate out of.
So how about next week? There's never any pressure, but if you're around next week, I might have the wall set up to jam live again.
Yeah, for sure. It kind of depends how work ends up booking me, but there's a decent chance I'll be available. In which case, I'll definitely call in and jam.
Never any pressure. Probably everything will fall apart. Would you like to play for us now? Do you have a instrument by you?
Yeah, I'll play a song.
That'd be
Hopefully,
awesome. Just like the
it's a song I was working on with a student the other day by Thelonious Monk.
and he used to
Yeah.
play with his fingers straight, right? He always
Yes,
like a
and I
lot of the
can't do
time.
that. I can't do that. Yeah, he do
And would
hold
you
note
say,
runs like that with this wide kind of technique.
oh, cool.
And whenever I've tried to play like that, I can't be precise at all. But for some reason, he was
And
able to play
he
like
kind of
that.
broke everything up, right? Like he kind of waited, and he either waited or played behind or ahead on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, he had a very kind of stylistic approach, and kind of sounds very quirky. It's kind of interesting trying to play his stuff because if you try to sound too much like him, you sound like you're trying to sound like him.
That's right.
And
Victor Wooten said that if you try to play like Jimi Hendrix, you're just going to sound like you, but trying to play Jimi Hendrix.
exactly, but it's interesting because with other, it's like I don't know, artists like Charlie Parker or something had his kind of standard licks he introduced into the vernacular, and everyone plays those. In a way, everyone kind of sounds like Charlie Parker, but it doesn't come off the same way as when you're trying to play as playing a Thelonious Monk lick.
That's right.
I don't know if it quite makes sense, but
It's like I
nonetheless,
always say it. It's
what's that?
I would always say what you're talking about there. It's always like there's an episode in Fraggle Rock where the little Fraggle guy has to go find his own song. Like he has to go on a journey to find his own voice.
I think I remember that.
Hey,
Yeah.
Todd, this is the first music conversation I've had in about 8 years
Oh
on my
no.
show. It's usually hot dogs and couche-tard and all that kind of stuff. The internet.
Well, you gotta. Uh, do you have a group you're playing with out there? I know you're playing in a musical out there.
Yeah, I did that a few. I think that was my sixth one. It's like a church community, and they have a choir, and then they'll hire like a violin and bass, and I played in that, so I got to do some like sight reading, like classical stuff a little bit. It's a fun challenge.
That sounds Interesting. Yeah.
But my friends, Dr. Nair Mumstead and Matt, do you remember those guys, the jazzers?
Remember the names. Yes.
They both got up and moved away at the same time. So like my
Oh
jazz
no.
life just died. So now I just kind of hang out at the Couche-Tard.
Is that what is your place? The Couche card?
That's the 7-Eleven kind of over here.
Oh,
So
that's the 7-Eleven. Okay.
so go for it, Todd. I'd love to hear you play. It'd be
Okay.
awesome.
This is me trying to sound like Thelonious Monk, trying to not sound like Thelonious Monk, trying to sound like me.
awesome.
Thank you.
Wow, that was beautiful just to hear you play that. It was like going into a whole different little world.
It's nice to hear. That's what I like to do with music.
Amazing. And it's good to hear so many different chords and things going on. It feels good to talk about music and jazz again rather than pogo sticks. I think. So what was the name of that tune
Testing.
again?
That's Ruby, My Dear.
Ruby, My Dear
Which
by
is,
Thelonious Monk.
One of Thelonious Monk's more better known ballads.
Have you heard the Victor Wooten
no.
song "The Loneliest Monk"?
I don't think so. I was watching Victor Wooten the other day, though. No, is that off one of his solo albums?
Yeah, from like 15 years ago or something. It's a song about him, and it's called "The Loneliest Monk." It's like tongue in cheek, but it's about his life, and it's a beautiful ode to him.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I did. I did have his solo album that would have come out around then.
And you saw the old video.
I used to be a big Bella Fleck fan.
Yeah, I saw Bella Fleck's an amazing banjo player, right? They're great guys.
Yeah. That's how I was introduced to Victor Wooten back in the day.
And you're in Kansas. My friend Sky the Universe, he's into trains a lot. And maybe I'm wrong with the location, but I think Canadian CN and Kansas, is it Kansas? They've hooked up train companies.
They've hooked up there are some train companies that I know have big offices here.
Do you ever see any CN or CP trains, like Canadian Pacific or Canadian National?
No, but I'll keep an eye out. The big ones here are like ENF and I forget the other one. Okay.
And, I've been filming the trains a lot lately, and at first it was just like, oh, trains, this is fun. I know it's its own whole world, but it's amazing how much cargo goes by every day. It's insane how much we're consuming.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yes. So are you becoming a train enthusiast?
Kind of like a train spotter. Like I have a location right next to me that's one of the best train locations on the island of Montreal. It's like 1 block away. So.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe well, you said you're off social media. I discovered a British Instagrammer the other day who's a hardcore train enthusiast, and he's always posting videos of British trains. I'm not necessarily a train enthusiast, but I found his enthusiasm infectious.
Well, that's it. Like, I've lived beside the train tracks my entire life. It's just part of my life. It's kind of hidden in plain disguise, whatever. You don't notice it. And then when I found someone who was really into it, I was like, wow, like, oh, I'll try and look what you're seeing. So everyone, it's a different perspective. It's like when you first discover music for the first time, and you're like, oh, I think I'll try this thing.
Oh, it totally makes sense. Yeah. I've had that with various things. I mean, music is like a whole world, but then like more things that often people would discount as like just mundane artifacts of existence, like maybe trains, and then you start noticing them and thinking about them differently. I started I'm not like a bird watcher, but I think I decided bird watching will be my old man hobby in like 20 years.
Okay.
So now I'm starting to pay slightly more attention to the birds, and I'm like, oh, look at that bird, look at that.
That's what I've been doing too ever since like my spinal damage. I've just been staying at home doing my show. And now I have like a butterfly garden, and I got bird feeders and water feeders.
Oh yeah,
and I see all just before the show. I'm not joking. There's a wild rabbit that comes up to me. She hops like right up to me and just eats beside me because she's gotten used to my presence or whatever. So, nature.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love it.
So we got
I love
Todd Brosman in Kansas City Live. Cool, that's you. So we would love to, no pressure, but I'll try and fix the computer. Stefan from Slovakia is here. He just missed you play, so he can watch you on the replay.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember Stefan from Slovakia from like 10 years ago.
That's right. I completely forgot. It was the Concert Windows Day. It was Stefan and Manny were one of the original people that were big fans, and they used to go there and tip and stuff. So, but then I moved over to YouTube, and it's just like everything's free, and we want it now, and shut up and play. And it's at least Concert Window had a thing like this is a little concert, you know?
Yeah, and both of us had a kind of small dedicated crew of viewers, which was always fun. Yeah, it's harder to discoverability on YouTube for something like this seems a bit more difficult.
Can you plug your stuff a little bit before you go if people want to check out your music for free?
Sure. You can check. There's not too much on my Todd Brosman YouTube, but follow anyway. There'll be more stuff in the future. I release music under the moniker Proud Creature. So check that out on your streaming platform of choice. I'll type it here in the window. And I just had an EP come out this week, and it's a little zonier, headier than jazz piano, but there's some piano incorporated, and anyone who wants to dive into that.
That's awesome, Todd. One of my favorite episodes of the Bass Guy Show is when you let us show your abstract video you made with jellyfish.
Oh, yes. I remember that. That would have... Okay, it's kind of similar to that. Oh, gosh, that is so long ago. That was with another project I was working on, so... Yes.
You can find it on my YouTube under your old name. It was T Bros you used to call yourself as, right? That's your username?
Yeah, which is still like my Instagram handle. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, gosh, that would be that was a project I was part of called Moon Casual. So you might be able to find that like on YouTube if you search Moon Casual.
Okay.
But,
well, I tagged
if you go
everything.
To the Proud Creature, if you go to the Proud Creature YouTube channel, there's some other trippy videos which you might enjoy.
Awesome. So check that out, everybody. And I always tag your name in my videos. So if you go to Bass Guy Show and put in Todd Brosman, is it? And then you'll find the videos with him on the Bass Guy Show as well. So
yes. So thank you.
This is great. It's good to reconnect. It's been years, like 7 years.
It's been a long time. Yeah, I've been like kind of keeping tabs through the YouTube and all that, but good to actually talk and chat. And if I'm free next Friday, as I am this Friday, I'll call in and hopefully we can jam.
Well, cheers for calling in, Todd. You've made my my month, so thank you very much.
Well, of course, Jack, and keep doing what you're doing. We'll chat again.
You'll see me on the replay, so I'll talk to you soon. Okay, Todd?
Sounds good. Peace. Bye, Jack.
Take care.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only T-Bros, Todd Brosman. He used to call into our show a long time ago on Skype. Here is us 7 years ago.
All blues.
So we pick a song. This is 2016, and we're jamming live in sync, which you can't even do on a telephone. I figured out a way to do it. So this is Todd and I 7 years ago jamming live on Concert Window.
Sure.
Okay, let's do this. This is T-Bros and Bass Guy live on Concert Window for Arcade Week.
Keep soloing.
Ladies and gentlemen, T-Bros live from New York City.
Ladies and gentlemen, T-Bros live from New York City. There you go. So that was a song called All Blues, written by Miles Davis on the album Kind of Blue, where they cut the record in just a couple of hours, and it was Cannonball Adderley, John Coltrane, Miles Davis, and was it Mr. PC Paul Chambers on bass? Amazing album. It really is funny. Like, I lived in this world where it was everything, all my friends, everything was about music and jazz, and not just jazz is a big word. When people say I don't like jazz, it's just a form of like not understanding. It just